a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey everybody! In this Movies Merica episode, people are strange when you're a stranger. All right, now that I managed to sneak a Doors reference in there, I'll tell you that stranger things are afoot as I spoiler-free review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Roll that intro!
Hey, all you beautiful movie-loving people out there, live from a red carpet somewhere, surrounded by celebrities. This is the Movies Merica podcast with Van Ebert, where movie reviews meet cold brews. Van will review your favorite and maybe not so favorite movies while enjoying some ice-cold beers and saying cheers. Now let's head into the theater and join our illustrious movie reviewer du jour, who's no doubt got the beer ready to pour, Van Ebert.
Zoink, Scoob! Things are very strange in here.
Hey, everybody. Hey, sorry, I took a little trip to the mystery machine there with Scooby and the gang. All right. Hey, first off, welcome. Thanks for joining us here at Movies America. All right. Latest episode here is taking us back to the MCU. All right. And we're going to find out if Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is flippin' fantacular or if you should just instead watch Avengers Endgame for the 73rd time instead. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, let's at least roll that trailer for Doctor Strange. What do you say?
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then... the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do. To protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
And you're right for listening to this episode. Hey, everybody. All right. Hey, before we get into the spoiler-free review, let's get into some of the crucial details I have to share. All right. So this episode or this whole podcast, as you know, is on Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other platforms. Feel free to tell your friends, your family, heck, even your enemies. Yeah, there you go. And if you happen to be on Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star rating. That's not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. 5 rating. I love to count. Yes, give it 5 stars if you please. Yes, I'm pretty pleased with sugar on top. All right, so I'll bake you some cookies or something. Yeah. Hey, while you're down there giving me a 5-star rating at Apple Podcast, way at the very bottom, at the bottom of all the episodes, you might as well just give it a review too. It's like a nice little window. You can give me a review there. You can just throw the word in there, fantastic, or throw a word in like excellent, or throw a word in there like pathetic. God, I hope you don't do that. But you know what? Hey, honesty is our policy here at Movies Merica Incorporated. Yes. And also, feel free to, up at the very top right, there's like the ellipsis, the 3 dots there. If you click on that, there's like a follow show or something like that, or subscribe to show. Yeah, go ahead and click on that. It'll download all the episodes, so that's one less thing for you to do when you're a busy day. Also, these podcast episodes are on moviesmerica.com. Go in there and visit moviesmerica.com. It's an eye-popping website. Oh, yes, life-changing for sure. Yeah. And also, I'm on Twitter and Instagram under Movies Merica, of course. I put posts out there, whenever I think I have something interesting to say. At least I think I have something interesting to say. You may have something else to say about that, but I do put that stuff out on Twitter and Instagram. And also, that gives you the opportunity to, DM me, give me some feedback or, maybe throw a movie out there you'd love me to review. Or something like that. So, yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram on the old social medias. And, yes, and today, as always, I got to have my thirst quenched, right? I got to stay hydrated. And today's lucky beer contestant, because I always drink a beer when I'm doing my reviews, right? Yeah, you guys know this, right? My loyal listeners know this already. And today I'm handing out my final rose to Rar and Sons Brewing Company and their particular brew called Adios Pantalones. Yes. See, I speak fluent Spanish. Man, I'm so good. Man, boy, I'm like practically Hispanic. Yeah, with a name like Van Ebert. Doesn't that just reek of Hispanic, right? So and anyway, so Rar and Sons is actually from here in Fort Worth, Texas. And Adios Pantalones is pretty refreshing. I like it because I'm a sucker for like beer with citrus notes in it. And this one does have some lemon lime in it, and it's perfect for this time of year. And I am not getting any money from Rar and Sons for this. This is not a sponsorship. I don't get affiliate marketing or anything like that with them. I like this beer. I find it quite tasty. Yes. And if you're not in Texas and you want to get your hands on it, you might be able to get it like on craftshack.com or gopuff.com. Again, I'm not getting any money from those websites there. So just trying to help out the peoples. Yeah, I don't want to just hog all the beer to myself, right? So, yeah, I want to help out the peoples. All right. So, okay, hey, enough of that right there. You came here for a spoiler-free movie review, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get right into the heart of it. Okay. So, today, again, like I said, we return to the latest installment in the MCU. Yes, the domain of one Kevin Feige. Yes, and so as you would expect with a Doctor Strange movie, it stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and it has Benedict Wong in it too, and it's picking up. It's not quite picking up like where the first Doctor Strange left off. As you know, there have been, Marvel TV series. I think they're on Disney Plus or something like that, like Loki and WandaVision and what's the other one? The Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think. I think there might be one more in there. I think Moon Knight is the new one that came out. So, but there's been those shows since we saw we last saw Doctor Strange in Spider-Man No Way Home. But then there's been some developments in these TV shows, and I've been told, I don't watch them. I don't watch the Marvel series, the Marvel TV series, but I've been told that they do play a little bit into this movie right here, which I don't think is a very good thing for Marvel to do. I mean, not everyone wants to subscribe to Disney Plus. Not everyone wants to watch the TV shows. For many people, Marvel might just be all about the movies and that's it. But I could tell you that you can watch this movie and you don't have to have watched the series, I don't think. I think they get the idea of who the characters are and what their agenda is and what they're going to do in this movie just fine throughout it. So it's I think it's fine. Yes, and this one, one of the things that I like about it is it's directed by Sam Raimi, and you may know Sam Raimi from Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, the third in the line of Evil Dead, and of course the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and also Darkman. I mean, I'm going to go through this whole list. Darkman with Liam Neeson back in '90, a movie that me and probably like 3 other people saw. Drag Me to Hell is the name of that movie, and I thought it was fantastic. It's just like vintage Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is his movies are all horror movies, or of the scary bent. He's had a few movies I think that aren't horror movies, or at least one. He did a movie called A Simple Plan with Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton, which was like more kind of like a mystery thriller kind of thing. But yeah, I do give the MCU credit for bringing in Sam Raimi, who does in a lot of his movies he has his own Raimi-isms, where he features like demons and hell and spirits and the occult and supernatural, and he's and this movie does have some of that. It's just, unfortunately, I think that the MCU wanted their piece, of the cake, and I think that they made the mistake of not letting Sam Raimi be Sam Raimi as much as this movie needed it to needed Sam Raimi to be able to do his thing. I mean, like, let Sam Raimi let his freak flag fly. I mean, and it's just because I think that's one of the big gripes that I have and a lot of people have about MCU movies, is they're just this cookie cutter formula. I mean, it's just, they all just look the same, and I know what they're doing with that. That's fine. I mean, you want to have some brand consistency, but they take it to a whole nother level. You can have brand consistency, to a point, where you have that signature, that Marvel signature on it, but also let the directors, bring into the movie what talents they have. And Kevin Feige and Marvel, they put the handcuffs on directors so much, I mean, some notable exceptions would be like James Gunn with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Taika Waititi with the Thor movies to an extent, but everybody else, mostly, they just say, all right, hey, this is the Marvel way. This is the way it's gonna be. Yeah, but I got this original idea there, Mr. Feige. No, this is the way Marvel does it. Assimilate or die. I mean, it's in the creation, the product suffers for it, and I think that Kevin Feige, the head honcho of Marvel here, is, I think he's really taking that creativity suppression to a whole new level in this movie and some other movies here recently. I think that if I had to guess, I think like Feige is a little jealous that he just doesn't have that creative talent that his directors and the writers of these movies have, and I just think that he just suppresses. He puts the handcuffs on them and does not let them realize their full vision. I mean, and also with this movie, this is a great example of how he hires terrible writers. I mean, I hear that the TV show Loki on Disney Plus is got terrible writing. Well, guess who's writing this movie? Doctor Strange, the writer from Loki. It's just one big I guess a team of talent there. That's but I mean, hey, they bring in whoever they want, but this movie does suffer from the bad writing. I mean, it definitely does. And I mean, one case in point is like the jokes in this movie just fall flat. They have a conversation between Doctor Strange and Wong, and then this new character, Merica Chavez, and in Merica Chavez, she makes a joke about, hey, does Spider-Man's webs come out of his butt? Because they basically talk about Spider-Man and the last No Way Home movie, and Doctor Strange is letting America Chavez know that there's this guy, he has spider webs that he uses, and then she jokes like, oh, do they come out of his butt? And Doctor Strange is like, well, I hope not. I mean, it's stupid jokes like that. I mean, and I think that there's just no emotional creative investment from the writers. I mean, I think that they're only interested in making content, but not content of value. I mean, creating an immersive story featuring characters you actually care about, what happens to them, it's just a lost art at Marvel. I mean, it's a refined art in other studios, but with Marvel, it's just I think it's just all about creating content, and that's it. It's now it's just plots involving we need this thing to defeat that thing, rinse and repeat, and it's the Marvel, at least to me, has lost its luster. Okay, just like there's the Zack Snyder fanboys. And there's collectives of fans for different things. There's Doctor Who fans and Star Wars fans and Trekkies and all that. Like, those are people that will, they'll climb a mountain and die, for their cherished IP, whether it's Star Wars or Doctor Who or Star Trek or whatever. And the MCU has fans like that. There's MCU fanboys. They worship, they bend the knee at the altar of MCU. And no matter how bad a Marvel movie is or how bad a Marvel movie is, they still light a candle at the altar of Marvel. I mean, they cannot bring themselves to give out a honest assessment. I mean, for them, Marvel movies are very much not transactional. It's just like, they're all awesome, they're great, it's the best, oh my God. And so every single time Marvel, jangles the keys in front of them. We're like, hey, we got this new superhero movie out here. Hey, come and check it out there, Marvel fanboys, and they just come running, a lot of times they won't watch, movies of any other ilk, from any other studio, but they'll come running for Marvel. And, and so Marvel knows that. And so Marvel just knows that, okay, we just have to produce content. We have to produce content where we have these wowie zowie visual effects, and in some cases they're not very wowie zowie, but again, the Marvel fanboys will come out regardless, and so I really wish that the MCU would concentrate on making good movies. I mean, because they are going to lose. I think they're eventually going to lose the fanboys, as well. Eventually, so I mean, they gotta do a better job here. And I implore them. I give them a challenge. I have dropped the gauntlet to MCU. I dropped the gauntlet. I challenge you, Kevin Feige and the MCU. Come out with content that doesn't alienate critical thinking people that aren't your Marvel minions. Okay, just come out. He came out with great stuff in the early days. Iron Man, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Ant-Man, all these great movies. And now they just plop out Drek in the Marvel dog dish. I mean, and so MCU, do better, okay? And one of the victims in this movie here is poor Benedict Wong, and of course he plays Wong in the Doctor Strange movies. Poor guy, man. He is just reduced to an exposition dumper. I mean, he's in this movie. He's just like, there's an ancient tablet, and it is stored at the top of a mountain in this castle, and it is said that is to have magic powers to summon demons, and if you get your hands on it while the moon is full, and it is, oh my God, like, poor character. I mean, and they do give him some stuff to do in this movie, but it just gets cheesy, when you got, poor Wong, just being the exposition dumper here. I mean, and they say when it comes to creativity in movies, and not just movies, but anything creative, it's better to show instead of tell. And they don't do the best job in this movie of that. So, all right, hey, enough griping. Well, not enough griping. I'm going to keep on griping, but I'm going to take me a little beer break here. So let me grab a sip of the old Adios Pantalones. Oh, yeah. Okay. And like I mentioned before, they do introduce this new character named Merica Chavez, and she's in the comics, so she's not new to this story. She's we haven't seen her in a live action movie through MCU yet, but so Merica Chavez, she is this character where she's not from our universe. So as you can tell from multiverse in the title, the concept of the multiverse, in case anybody doesn't know what that means here that's listening, is their multiverse is all about there being different universes, not just our universe, but different universes, different existences, okay? And they have their own worlds and people and all that. And Merica Chavez is from a totally different universe. Not our universe, she's from a totally different universe. And knowing that, in my mind, it begged the question of myself that how is someone not from our universe named America? I don't get that. How is there an America in another universe? Explain that one to me, okay? Because these universes are completely separate from our universe. I mean, America here was named after Amerigo Vespucci, this Italian, Italian explorer. You can't tell me there's an Amerigo Vespucci that was actually in this other universe, right? It's a completely different universe. So that kind of made me shake my head like, okay, we have a character named America, and she's not from this universe where there's an America. She's from another universe. And how is it that she's wearing this gay pride pin the whole time on her jacket? That's what? It's like, okay. And I know Marvel's trying to do that. They're trying to, put in representation, in all their movies, at the suffering of the story in some cases here. And so they do these kind of woke things to, as a attaboy, Marvel, yeah, so they could just say to the people that care about it, look what we did, look at that rainbow pride pin right there, so it's totally unnecessary. I mean, a good story, a good movie, good entertainment is just that, whatever your political leanings are. So stop trying so hard, Marvel. Okay, all right. So, but I mean, I will say that there are some good things in this movie. I mean, I do like the Raimi-isms in it. I do like how they've got the scarier, scary for Marvel, I should say, but the scarier imagery in this movie than you've ever seen in any other Marvel movie, and that was from the Raimi that they allowed in this movie. They've got these, the zombies and demons being summoned from hell, and that's not spoiling the movie at all. That's because I'm not giving it any context, but I did like that part of it, because I'm a big I'm a big Raimi head. And I loved Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, and especially Army of Darkness. I love all those movies. And so they're just full of like the occult and supernatural and demons. I just love that stuff. And so they do allow that part of Sam Raimi in this movie. And I gotta say, like, Raimi sure does love putting evil books in his movies. I mean, the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, was a big part of some of his prior movies. And in this movie, he's got more another scary book called The Dark Hold that is featured in this. And so that's pure vintage Sam Raimi. Also in this movie, and again, this is not a spoiler, but the Illuminati make an appearance for the first time that I've seen them since that Tom Hanks movie Angels and Demons. But it's not that Illuminati. It's something different in this. And as you may have heard about this movie, there are some cameos. So if you regularly are on the internet, or you're on social media or YouTube, whatever, chances are you've heard about, the star-studded cameos that are in this movie. I think they're trying to capitalize on Spider-Man No Way Home, having cameos there. And I have to say, in this movie, the cameos were disappointing. And And what happens with the cameos in this movie is just what I was concerned about when I heard about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, how they were going to be, how they're going to have cameos in Spider-Man No Way Home. However, that movie alleviated my fears because they actually gave Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield like some meaningful stuff to do in the movie, and they weren't in the movie for like 2 minutes and they were gone. This movie, however, the cameos, it did realize my fears there because they are just they don't do much in this movie. They just make an appearance, and Marvel just slaps them in there to get some cheap applause, from the Marvel minions of Marvel fanboys. Because when I was in the theater, I do have to admit there was some woo and some clapping and all right, Kevin Feige, you're the best, all right, like when these cameos appeared on screen. But again, more key jangling for the Marvel cats, oh, cameos, all right. But cameos can work very well in movies, as we saw, like I mentioned, in Spider-Man No Way Home, bringing in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. That was a master stroke because they did it the right way. But if you don't do it the right way, you get what you see in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And one of the concepts that kind of cracked me up in this movie that they have here, I guess I think maybe they watched Inception way too much shortly before filming this movie, is, so in this movie, Doctor Strange has a dream, and he talks about his dreams, and I think it was America Chavez, that character, said that your dreams featuring you in this movie, so when you have a dream, according to this movie, and it features you, it's just you're basically seeing yourself in a different universe. Okay, so that's why this movie tries to portray dreams in here. So I guess there's a universe where there's a lot of people finding themselves speaking while completely naked to an auditorium full of people. Okay, so I guess there's a universe that there's a lot of that going on, okay? Because who hasn't had that dream, right? So another thing that bothered me about this movie, and at this point you're probably like, oh my God, what didn't bother you about this movie, right? Is that they do have a fight towards the beginning of the movie, a fight like right in the middle of New York City, a big old battle, and the big baddie that they're fighting against looks like a ripoff of Starro the Conqueror that we saw in the Suicide Squad back last year. A much better movie than this, I should say. And the big baddie looks a lot like Starro the Conqueror. In this case, it's Gargantos, like the big octopus with the big eyeball. Again, this isn't spoiling anything. But yeah, Garganto or Jarganto, however you want to pronounce that, it looks a lot like Starro the Conqueror in the Suicide Squad. Again, like I said, a much better movie, and I'm more than happy to stress that. So the Suicide Squad made like $5 at the box office. Unfortunately, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going to make like $5 billion at the box office, and the Suicide Squad, a exponentially better movie than this, made $5 at the box office. So, I mean, how is that for movie justice, right? But another good thing I did like about this movie to kind of sprinkle in some positivity is I did like Elizabeth Olsen's performance in this as Wanda Maximoff, or the Scarlet Witch as her alter ego, and her motivation behind what she does in this movie is kind of contrived and predictable and kind of stupid, but the way she acted, her performance, the way she pulled it off, I think was pretty good. She completely overshadows Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange in a Doctor Strange movie. It's like, okay, all right, okay, all right. So Doctor Strange is second fiddle in his own movie, I think, from what I've seen in this, but. Yeah, it's so. Hey, you know what? The choice is yours. The decision up to you as far as whether you want to see this movie. I I'm not going to see it again. But hey, to each their own. Some people will just worship at the altar of Marvel, and they'll go see any Marvel movie, no matter how terrible it is. But so I leave it up to you. All I can do is give you my spoiler-free reviews, and to arm you with that information, and you can make your own choice. Yeah. So because we're all about choice around here, right? Yeah. There you go. Okay, well, hey, with that, everybody, as always, thanks for listening to Movies Merica. I really am honored to have you listening. Tell your friends and family, please. I'm on Apple Podcasts, I'm on Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and again, give it a 5-star rating and a positive review if you would, all right? And with that, hey, everybody, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. Adios.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the po-po. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.